Yeah, first like to just welcome the 2025 signing class to the University of Missouri. Really proud of the work that our staff and everybody throughout our university did to bring these 17 young men home, and very excited about the future. I want to first start and thank our Director of Player Personnel, Ryan Trishell, and his crew who do a lot of the evaluations and scouting, Director of Recruiting Strategies, Mari Bland, and his staff who do a lot of communication and constantly staying in touch, and then Olivia Olson and her staff on the Director of On-Campus Recruiting, obviously led by Jacob Peeler, our recruiting coordinator, as well as our coaching staff. I thought they did a tremendous job of targeting, knowing what we needed, targeting those people, developing relationships, and ultimately building relationships that get young men to sign. Also want to start by, or also thank our coaches' wives. They spend a lot of time and sacrifice time with their husbands for us to be on tweets, like tweets, retweet stuff on social media, host recruits at their house. On official visits, we do breakfast at our position coaches' homes, and so the wives have to, open up their homes, make a meal, and work really hard. So I appreciate them taking the time, as well as our coaches, to doing that. Also want to thank our generous donors in developing a fundraiser for our NIL opportunities and the ability to, be competitive in a competitive world of NIL and revenue sharing. Also want to thank Brad Larondo and Every True Tiger for his tireless work of going back and forth and doing things that needed to be done in order for us to sign another top 25 class, which is the fourth time we've done it in 5 years. I know we signed the top player in the state for back-to-back years, which is always important to us. We signed players from 10 different states. We've got 10 early enrollees. We signed 4 players ranked in the top 100. So incredibly proud of the players that we were able to get, and look forward to continuing to work to build our roster through retention of the current players, the signing class we have now, in the transfer portal. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Eli, what are some of the top traits you typically look for when recruiting a quarterback, and how does Matt fit those?
Yeah, we evaluate quarterbacks on toughness, preparation, decision-making, accuracy, and leadership. Those are the traits that we feel like make up elite quarterbacks. And so then you just go through the list. You look at Matt's ability, toughness, both physical and mental. Obviously, he's dealing with an injury right now and has dealt with injuries before to be able to come back. Preparation, the amount of time he puts into knowing offense, learning offense, and studying offense. Decision making with the ball in his hands, constantly makes good decisions. He's got the ability to extend plays with his feet and with his arm, and that was a really good asset that we felt like he had. Is an accurate thrower of the football, and he's a leader. When we went out there last year to Pittsburgh area, Kirby and I got to see his leadership traits not only in football but also on the basketball court. So,
Eli, with all the stuff you're talking about, NIL, and they're moving signing day up 2 weeks this year, was it a more hectic stretch run than you've gotten used to as a head coach? I mean, has this all changed the lead up?
Yeah, obviously this year's change was quite a bit different. Normally we spend 2 weeks going in homes and kind of finishing out the class and making sure everything's right. Now, if you didn't have a home game the last game, you didn't get a chance to see your recruits, and obviously with NIL and revenue sharing, there was a lot of last minute changes of heart and different things like that. So it's definitely different, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just hard to tell.
Just kind of a follow-up to that, with the revenue sharing coming in and with scholarship limits and walk-ons being eliminated, has your roster building strategy changed at all when you're looking at putting together these classes? Has anything changed on that front?
I think things change every day in college football. So you have best laid plans of mice and men, and then you got to have the most important thing is adaptability, the ability to adapt to whatever the new structure and changes are. I mean, we think revenue share is a real deal, but we don't really know. I mean, nothing's finalized till April 1st, and so I was having a conversation with another head coach about how are they dealing with NIL versus revenue share and creating numbers, and he reminded me that NIL or revenue share was a concept that won't be finalized until the future, and how much it changed in the last 4 months. So are we really sure that that's going to be in place? So I don't know.
Coach, so with that, how do you navigate that when you're trying to figure this out, and you also have these recruits and their families who are trying to figure this out too, and nobody?
Yeah, you got to build trust and respect, and that's what we tried to do with these relationships, is build a foundation of trust and respect. You look back on what we've done and our ability to keep our word here, and visit with our players and families and make sure that what we say and what we do align, and have that moving forward, because there's still a lot to have to navigate moving forward.
No more kind of hectic finish for you than at running back. And can you talk about what you liked out of Marquise and Brendan, and the ability to get those guys who, maybe you haven't been involved with for a full year?
Well, Marquise we've actually been involved with for a while, and we actually had him on campus early in his recruiting process, and Brendan Boylan has done an excellent job in the state of Ohio recruiting, and really laid the foundation for us there over 18 months ago. And so we had a strong relationship with Marquise, and then as things, we always knew we were taking a second running back in this class, and so we had a relationship with Brendan, and actually had sent Coach Looper to watch him play, and we're going to bring him on. They just happened to both come in the same weekend, and both had a great time and let us know that they were coming, which was an awesome thing, and we were willing to take all three if we needed to. But sometimes things just work out.
What do you like about those two as players?
Oh well, I think the thing I like the most is their complementary nature. Both of them are dynamic runners. Obviously, Brendan has a tremendous amount of statistics and has put up a lot of numbers. He's got dynamic speed. Marquise has got really good speed, downhill runner, be able to run behind his pads. They'll be a good Batman and Robin or Thunder and Lightning from a tag team standpoint. Both of them have elite skill set.
Coach, what's it like recruiting someone so last minute like Javion Hilson, who you get a commitment from today?
Yeah,
what does
how
that
about that?
process look like?
Well, it's like speed dating. We had a relationship there too, just because of some previous players, and had been there to watch him and evaluate him. But it really became real because of some connections that Coach Early had to some of the mentors. And when he got on campus, I think Coach Early did an excellent job of showing him the depth chart, the opportunity to play. The combination of him, William, Jalen, Zion, Jakai, I think got everybody really excited about what we can do. And that's a position that is proven in the SEC that you can come in and play early, and especially with what some other people have done as freshmen in this conference, I think he saw an opportunity to leave his mark on one of the best conferences in college football.
Eli, as a whole, looking at those 17 guys, what are some of the shared traits that you see in all 17 of them that you feel like all of them are bringing to your football team?
Yeah, I think they all had a great energy about them and a vibe when they came on campus. They evaluated the opportunity. They understood what Missouri has become and what we're doing. Their constant ability to come back and want to watch games and be around us, I think, was something that everybody was excited about. I think the other thing was this was a strong class. Matt and Jason Dow and Henry and Jason King and Keaton, Jack Lang, they all stayed together, group text, were constantly recruiting to make this the class that we wanted it to be. We set out with the goal to sign anywhere between 15 and 20 players, and we really didn't want to sign too big of a class. We've kind of found the right formula for us. So for us to settle in this number of 17 right now is really good, and we're very excited about where we're at.
Coach, two-parter on Jack Lang, just what excites you about him, and then what have you seen from him just over having been committed for the last few months?
Yeah, well, obviously top player in the state, a dominant offensive lineman. I was able to go watch Eureka play this year and just watch him as he comes off the ball, very good pad level, knee bend, hands inside. Is going to have to learn the other side of pass protection, but with Coach Jones' ability to teach, felt very confident that'll be good. And I think Jack's very excited about going against the best. He's going to get to go against Will and Javion, and he's going to get to compete every day and figure out where he's struggling and how to get better.
2 straight years picking up the top guy, or in this case, the top guys in the state of Missouri, and it hadn't happened for a couple years before that. What does that mean to kind of install that culture that this university picks up the best talent in Missouri?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with what we've been able to do with Luther and him being the biggest billboard for us, and how we recruit, and our ability to deliver on what we say we're going to do. And now with Will and Jack, the ability to continue to build on that. Obviously, this is a trench league, and so to be able to keep the best players in the state from the offense and defensive lines is a huge importance to us.
Coach, how do you feel about getting 10, 11 different kids from different states, and how do you feel about the reach you're getting nationally, recruiting wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us the biggest thing was you got to recruit the best players in this state who can play at this level. And I think over the course of my time, I've realized you always want to err on the side of taking the best players of the state, but they got to be able to play. Otherwise, it can create some unnecessary feelings that we don't want to create here. And so I think we've done a really good job of being able to identify the players who can play and contribute at this level, and then work out into that, wider net. I think our national exposure over the past 2 years has helped us. I think there was a stat Dave Matter put out yesterday. There's only 6 teams that have won 20 games in the last 2 seasons, and that's an awesome thing for the University of Missouri. We're now able to walk into just about anywhere in the country and have national recognition for what we're doing.
How much of a process was that? I mean, before you got here, if Missouri was getting a 4 or 5 star kid, he was from Missouri or from very close, and not just getting out of state kids, but Matt and guys that highly ranked.
Yeah, obviously Matt, Donovan, Jack, and Javion are 4 players inside the top 100 who, and 3 of those are out of state. So again, our brand is becoming more and more national, just like our enrollment is. And this is a wonderful academic institution, AAU institution. It's a wonderful school that also has a wonderful reach from an athletic standpoint.
Coach, this trio of wideouts, just what do you think they're going to be able to add to the room you've already got in place there?
Yeah, obviously, Scary Terry, Sean Terry is dynamic with the ball in his hands, an elite punt returner. We're very fortunate to get him. I think he comes in and helps us with a need that we automatically have. Donovan is a strong, physical wide receiver who's in and out of breaks, got long speed, but also short area quickness. Contested catches are what he does really well. So I think Henry is a good route runner, ball in his hand, creates explosives. Obviously, we'll have to figure out where each one of them plays and what Coach Peeler does with them when they get here. But the great thing is a lot of early enrollees. Like we said, we got 10 early enrollees that'll be here mid-year, and Sean and Donovan being here early will really help them get acclimated.
How does the guys you signed today impact what you need to do when the portal opens, or are those 2 separate things because one's for 2 years down the road?
No, they're not 2 separate things. I think obviously we've proven that we'll play freshmen, and now with the portal and NIL and salary caps, and then what you're willing to spend, you have to be willing to play with, because everything gets squeezed. So there's a few positions that'll have the opportunity to grow and develop, but if you're a skill guy who's an early enrollee, then if you're an early enrollee, we're expecting that you're coming in to compete for a position and provide us or provide an opportunity to contribute. And if you're not, it still doesn't mean you can't. It's just these guys got a little bit of a head start on you, but everybody we're expecting to help contribute to win. Treasure Greco's on the field at the end of the game, and several other freshmen are helping us this year.
How exciting is it for you to have such a highly rated quarterback coming in with such a highly rated wide receiver?
Yeah.
Pairings with that.
Well, I think that
chemistry.
I think that goes hand in hand, right? Great players want to play with great players, and I think when we were able to get Matt, it attracted some of the best that want to come play with us.
Anything else for Coach? Great, thank you guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Coach.